and odds, that's our deal. From underdogs to favorites, we break it down. Empty Field Podcast, the talk of the town. Empty Field, where we lay it all out. Breaking down games, removing all doubt. One interviews with stars, we bring in the heat. Sports news and odds, talk that can't be beat.
Welcome to another episode of the Empty Field Podcast. My name is Matthew Hansen, and today I have a badass rookie who's leading her team in all defensive stats from the Utah Falcons, number 36, Bergen Meyer. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very well. First off, tell us about yourself.
So I was raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, and then this last year I actually moved to Denver, Colorado. I went to the University of Utah, graduated with a bachelor's in science and psychology, and then went on to get my master's degree in statistics. Growing up, I actually played soccer, was not good with the hand-eye coordination, and pretty much went on to play football in a beer league one year, and the rest is history.
As I said in the intro, leading the entire team in a bunch of stats. So I'm going to go through these. We are halfway through the season at the time of recording. She has leading the team with 12 tackles. She has number one in interceptions for her team, tied for number one for fumble recoveries, way ahead in passes defended, 6 in the kickoff returns for the team. Like, what? And this is your rookie season.
It is my rookie season. First time ever playing tackle.
Wow, that's awesome. How
Thank
did
you.
you get so good at, did you do flag?
So, yeah, I guess for probably 6 months before this, I started playing flag football. I guess you could say a year. I originally was on a team that wasn't really good with a coach that wasn't really a coach. And then I eventually transitioned into flag with the Utah Sting, where a lot of those Sting girls are actually on Utah Falcons. So I played for about 6 months with them before transitioning into tackle football beginning of this year.
Awesome. So what got you into the game of football?
Who got me in? So it's actually interesting. My sorority sisters that got me into the game of football, where basically in Utah, there's this league called Beehive, and it's just this really big social league. And so they were one day like, hey, like we need an extra person. You know, you played soccer. We want to come try out this football league. And it wasn't really anything special. It's like co-ed 11v11. And I just kind of started there. And I was just relatively athletic, just playing sports my entire life. And that's where I had met a few, that's actually where I met my original coach. His name's AC. And he was like, well, come try out, actually backtrack. I was actually playing competitive kickball at the time. So I started playing football and actually transitioned away from that into competitive kickball. And then during kickball, I'm pretty fast around the bases. And that's where I met my coach because he was repping the game. And he's like, well, do you want to come try? Like, I've seen you at Beehive for a season. Do you want to come try actual like 5v5? So I ended up going to his team for a while, and we just weren't really a good fit. He was trying to put together a team, and he just had a coaching style that I just didn't really mesh with. So I eventually transitioned away and went to the Utah Sting. And that's kind of, that transition is like kind of just starting with beer league and kickball, and then him kind of bringing me into it. And then, yeah, transitioned into Sting. And then, yeah, I guess a year later, tackle.
Awesome. Well, Utah is kind of a unique state because they don't really have a pro football team. I have to ask, what pro football team do you cheer for?
Ooh. See, my dad's a Steelers fan, so I often cheer for the Steelers, but I'm slowly becoming a Green Bay Packers fan the more I learn
Oh,
about them.
oh,
Do I
I'm
need to leave?
sorry. Yeah,
Do I
you
need,
might need to
wait, I
leave. I
can,
don't know where my,
hey, hold on, let me just
oh, there it
quickly,
is. There it is. Here it is. I'm sorry. I'll do this again for another episode. Green Bay Packers, you say? I am from the Minnesota state here, and we have the Vikings. Can't say
that's
anything about
fair.
last season because that was horrible, but I will say we did have a player win the Super Bowl, so.
That's
Huh.
fair. That's fair. Here's the thing, though. I
Um,
can't be a Broncos fan. I moved to Denver, and I'm like, I can't be a Broncos fan. I can't hop on that bandwagon.
oh,
So,
yeah, for the Steelers.
yeah, I guess I can say the Steelers. We'll just say the Steelers so
Okay,
we can be friends
we'll go
again.
with the Steelers. A lot better choice. So then how did you become a corner?
So I originally started as a wingback for the team. And I was actually the starting wing back on the right side. And that's actually now where Liv Green plays, number 8. And so I was starting and then I moved. And so pretty much during that move, I had to take a month off. So I kind of lost that starting spot just because she had a month of practice and I didn't, kind of in our camps. And so I came back and they were like, okay, you're going to be second string running back, but we're going to try and transition you in. But during our practice, what they do is if you're not starting, they say, hey, go scout somewhere. So I went in that corner. I was like, okay, let's do it because that's the position I actually play in Flaggett's corner. And I did one diving, one-handed catch. And the next thing I know, the next game, uh, our coach Rip is like, "Yeah, you're black defense. You're off offense." I got fired. He fired me until you got defense. He's like, "You're done. You're going to defense." So
Oh,
yeah, it's a little bit of
do
an
you-
accident where I dove for it and caught it one-handed. And he's like, "That was dope. You're on defense now." I'm like, "Dang it!"
which one? Which would you prefer, offense or defense?
I think defense has grown on me. I think when I first started, I had played so much defensive flag that I wanted to try offense. And as I've gotten into the role, I've kind of learned to love defense. It's become really fun, kind of learning to read how the running backs are running, the receivers. So I do prefer it a lot more than I did at the start. I would say that my favorite position is definitely my special teams position, which is kick return.
Why is that?
It's just fun to try and weave through people. It's just a blast.
Aren't you afraid of like the big hit?
No, no.
All right. In your mind, what's more satisfying, an interception or shutting somebody down all game?
Stop. Before we continue this episode here, are you staying hydrated? No, no, no. Have you tried Hydrofy? Man, it's not just flavored water. It's clean hydration with electrolytes that actually work. No sugar crash, no junk ingredients. Pretty simple. Hydrofy keeps you sharp and fueled for the day. I use it because, man, it's simple, effective, and it just tastes real good. Hydrate smarter, hydrate better. That's Hydrofy. Use promo code MTF to get 10% off your order. Just say, hey, Matt from the Empty Field podcast sent you.
Ooh, it kind of depends. I think the bigger the receiver or the running back, definitely shutting them down. If it's somebody who's about my size, definitely an interception.
Okay. Now, here's where you can give someone some flowers. Who's been the
Okay.
toughest receiver you've had to defend so far this season?
Oh my gosh, Maria Fatali, and she's not a receiver, but she's a running back. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have never chased somebody who is that fast. I was like, are you joking? She's a beast. She's phenomenal. So yeah, Maria for sure.
Awesome. Now, what part of your game are you most confident in?
Pass defending. I'm a pretty good read of the quarterback. And then knowing where my receiver is, and I would say that's probably where I'm most confident is being able to get in the way of a pass.
Okay. Now, even though it's your rookie season, what are you trying to actively improve on?
I think trying blocking and like getting blocks off. I think you can kind of see it in my game where I struggle with being blocked. And I think I definitely want to learn how to like swim offenders off me so I can get to my tackles a lot quicker. So that's definitely a weak point that I'm hoping to improve on here in the next little bit.
Okay. What does a weekly preparation look like for you? From like Monday, do you just do cardio? How many times a week do you guys practice?
So yeah, we practice 2 times a week, but since I'm a travel player, I'm actually very fortunate. So I have two other Falcons who live out here in Denver with me. So we will go out and train independently the same day that we actually have practice in Utah. So we train Tuesdays and Thursdays in Utah. And we'll do the same thing out here. And so we'll do a lot of route running, a lot of deceleration stuff, plyometrics, a lot of just kind of working on those fast twitch muscles. And then we'll supplement that with weight room stuff. So on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll go to the gym and work on various muscle groups. And then kind of even after plyometrics, I will also go do some weightlifting, kind of the muscles I didn't work out. So usually that's kind of how I supplement it. And then, yeah, on the weekends, I usually will, if I'm not in Utah, I'm usually supplementing with flag or like trying to play in a game to kind of keep that muscle and that warmth throughout the season.
All right. All right. How much time do you spend watching or studying a receiver slash running back?
Ooh, so I try and do at least an hour a day. Uh, I will actually see my friends here. We have actually a film study day. And that's usually on Fridays where we'll spend probably a good 4 hours breaking down film, and then watching other people play because it's fun to kind of see where other teams are. And so our Fridays are definitely our days, but then kind of throughout the week, I'll do a lot of scouting reports, watching other teams, watching the specific positions that I'm going to be defending and going over the routes and their schemes. And then usually on Saturdays, either before the games or we're on a bye week this week. So this Saturday and this Sunday, we'll actually have a whole like scheme practice. We'll watch our practices and just show like, hey, this is what we can improve on. This is where, this was good. And then, or we'll watch games too. So it's not just practice. We'll sometimes watch our own stuff to see where we're messing up and where we can improve or where we can adjust our scheme.
Awesome. Now, you're lining up across from a receiver. Ball's not snapped quite yet. What's going through your mind?
Ooh, the first thing is where they lined up. Are they lined up on the outside or the inside? Because that usually tells you a lot about what that receiver is going to do. If they're lined up on the outside, there's either someone coming underneath them and they're probably going to go in. If they're lined up on the inside, they're probably going out or they're doing a screenplay to push me out and open up a hole. So trying to see where they're lined up in relation to the line. And then also, I think that the biggest thing is like recognizing what down it is and the yards. I think not a lot of players do that, or at least on my team, not a lot of players do that. Where, or at least they didn't. I think he's gotten more of a practice this season because our coaches are like, "Hey, remember the count, remember the yards, remember the down." So we've been practicing that more, and that kind of helps me know, okay, this is probably going to be a run play because you have 2 yards to go versus this is probably going to be a pass play. And so if I know it's a run play or a pass play, and then I know where they're positioned, I can kind of gauge probably where I need a break to a little bit before they snap the ball.
Oh yeah. Now, it happens to everybody. You give up a bad play. What do you do to reset?
I definitely kind of get in my head. I'm definitely bad about getting in my head. But the one thing is, I always say that my team actually probably brings me up the most because I think I definitely get in my head more than anything. And a lot of my teammates are really good at being like, hey, shake it off, hold fixed memory. And I think it kind of actually fuels me to remember sometimes to want to make a better play later on. So usually I'm just like, okay, I remember it, but I'm not going to let it hinder me. I'm going to use that to fuel the next few plays.
Okay. Now, you are the first Utah Falcon I've been able to interview. What's the
Yeah.
locker room like in that Utah
Oh
Falcon?
my gosh. So we have a lot of polys on our team and they are hilarious. They're sitting there, they're chanting, they're singing. And then it's kind of funny. You have like one corner of the room where people are just sitting like, and then you have like the polys in the middle, throwing waters, you can get drinking Gatorade, open up, opening up orange peels and yelling, and people are changing. And yeah, it's a good vibe. It's a good vibe. We're blasting music. And I think it's a very, very happy team. Like there's not a lot of drama and whatever drama there is very quickly squashed. And so it's just a lot of like talking and getting ready for the game. And then usually after that, there's a lot of we warm up quite a while. We usually have like 5 different locker room sessions. We'll start in kind of all goofy and all that, and then we'll kind of come in and like as time progresses in the locker room, you can just tell there's just something about the atmosphere that kind of changes after we do like our walk and our warm up where you could just tell everyone's locked in and that there's just this common goal. And that's usually when the coaches come in, when everyone just kind of locks in and they'll give their speeches and they'll give players a chance to say their speeches and kind of the objective of the game. And we usually kind of set a goal. So last game or 2 games ago for our last home game, it was for our coach. We had our head coach from the previous year pass away. So that game was dedicated to him. And then this last game in LA, actually, our biggest goal was to kind of clean up a lot of our mistakes. We've been making a lot of mistakes, a lot of fumbles. If you look at our group text, our coach is like, "You need to stop fumbling, protect the rock." And that's all he did. And so like they'll kind of give their speech, and that's kind of our goal. So we'll kind of go over our goal, and then we just have this really big speech, this awesome chant, which I can actually send you, that we do before every single game, where we're like, yeah, we have each other's back, and it's really cool.
Yeah, if you could send me, that'd be great. I can add it to the show.
Yeah,
all right,
I got you.
rapid fire. First thing that comes to your mind:
Okay, deal.
man coverage, zone coverage,
Zone,
interception or pass breakup,
interception,
film study or do a couple extra reps,
ooh, film study.
practice or game day.
Oh, game day.
You trash talking or you staying quiet?
Trash talking.
All right, give us one of your trash talk.
I'm gonna get you a diaper. Oh my gosh, I did say this to your. I'm gonna get you a diaper for your chin because it looks like a baby's ass.
All right, one word that describes your playing style.
Feisty.
One word that describes you.
Ooh, very energetic. So energetic.
Okay. If you could talk to 10-year-old you, what would you tell her?
Just keep pushing through it. I think 10-year-old me, I guess this is gonna be a longer answer. 10-year-old me definitely kind of struggled growing up in Utah. It's very white, very elderly state, and I was not either of those things. And I definitely struggled to make friends. And how I did that was in sports. So then you'd go home and have friends. And so you have this like weird energy of, yeah, I don't really have friends. I want friends. I don't necessarily know how to make friends, but I'm good at sports. And, I think I would tell her, like, hey, look, it gets better. Like, you're going to find your people, you're going to find your family, and just keep doing you. Just continue to be authentically yourself. And I promise you that you're going to get there. And that's exactly what I would tell 10-year-old.
Awesome. Any special shout outs you want to give?
Ooh, yeah. So definitely want to give one to my girl, Gina Mondragon. She's still in it this season. She's our wingback. And then actually to one of my best friends is Sarah Yopum. She is one of our quarterbacks. She's actually been with my flag. She's actually been on my football journey since the very beginning. We've gone through our football journey together. So she's been awesome. And then I think a really big one that I'd love to give it to it was just in my head, and then I'm gonna end. Her name's Lauren Manning. So she's actually not on the Falcons. She's on the Utah Sting. And she's always been like a super positive person, like helping me with my catching, encouraging, and it's definitely pushed me to be a way better player. So those are my 3 really big shout outs.
Awesome. Well, that concludes the interview. Follow the show, Empty Field Podcast, on Apple and Spotify. You can see the videos of every show I do on Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. You can find clips of it on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere social media is. Where can everybody find you?
Hey, you can find me on my socials on Instagram or TikTok at Bergen_Meyer. Or my TikTok might just be Bergen Meyer, but I'm easy. You can find me. It's a unique name, hopefully.
Well, Bergen, I appreciate you stopping by talking to us about the Utah Falcons because, like I said, you're the first one that's been on.
Oh, I'm glad. I could come on the show. So thank you for having me.
Fans of One T Media Production, do you guys drink coffee? Sure you do. I, myself, drink quite a bit of coffee, so I always turn to Afuera Coffee for my go-to. It's smooth, it's bold, it's not too heavy. Perfect for that early morning or when you just need to lock in for the day. The best part is, at every purchase, 5% goes back to the great outdoors. Get a bag like this. I get 2 myself. Use promo code MTF and you get 15% off your order. Guys, what's not to love about coffee, free money, and deliciousness? Afuera Coffee.
Yeah, and empty field, where the action's real. Sports news and odds, that's our deal. From underdogs to favorites, we break it down. Empty Field Podcast.